But I'm talking about like if you guys do present like a scaling chain, then you guys would be on the affirmative on trying to justify that scaling chain, and we can go and like analyze the exhibits of that scaling chain. That's fine. Like if that's what you guys want to do, we can talk about University UG
I
first.
don't think you understand the argument here.
Okay, go ahead, Westbound.
Yeah, so basically on one end of the scaling, we have this quantifiable range in which Maki would be in, right? But then basically it would just say, yes, on the opposite side of the spectrum, we wouldn't have any reason to believe that he would be in this range as well. And then we can like make some sort of gauge based on his fight with Yuji. So we can start talking about his fight with Yuji. But
Oh, yeah, that's fine, but Westbound, I
we're
think
affirming
like we're not in a different page. I'm just confused on why like you're saying that we don't have any sort of like quantifiable metric when you yourself are saying that there's an exhibit we can analyze. Yeah, sure, it might not be as quantifiable as Maki and Yuta's relation, but I still think that if there is an exhibit to be looked at, you'd still be on the affirmative.
I don't think you could
Yeah, what's the
quantify it to
argument that
being
you're
a
not
blitz level above. And by quantify, I mean I mean like but through some actual metric. The way in which we I guess quantify Maki's metric is through Cursia literally being stated to be Mach 3, above Mach 1. Now he is stated to be Mach 1, and these speeds just like surpass UG speed undeniably.
Um,
And then based on what's demonstrated, we have no reason to believe that like
we
Yoda
can
would
we can
be
we can
this
analyze those
threshold
exhibits in
level
a
faster
second.
than Yuji.
Oh yeah, we can analyze those exhibits in a second. I'm more so concerned about the Yuta and UG thing right now. If you want to talk about Yuta and UG, do you think that Yuta is the same as end of series Yuta?
As what?
The same as end of series Yuta?
I'm arguing for wait, this is Culling Games Yuta versus fully realized Maki. You realize that, right?
That clarification wasn't made like prior,
It was made
like
multiple
whatsoever.
times.
Okay. Okay, what
It
do you
wasn't communicated with
I mean,
me. But regardless, that's fine too.
all
That's
right,
fine too.
what
Like that's
okay,
fine too.
what do you consider end of series Yuta to be?
Well, yo, that's fine. He said it's fine,
Speaking of
bro.
fine, but
He
we
said
can do
it's fine.
calling games. We can do calling games. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's cool.
Okay, you want to do Culling
Um,
Games? All right, that's fine.
yeah, that's cool. In that case, like I think Yuta like demonstrates like different levels of output during the calling games as opposed to when he's fighting Yuji.
Yeah, go ahead and prove that.
Yeah, sure. He utilizes like techniques like the blast that he uses with Rika, the domain expansion. There's a lot of like other shit that he like definitely doesn't like display during the Yuji fight. Like he doesn't even like want Rika to come out, and like when Rika does come out, he just like overpowers Yuji completely. And like just because like there's a different level of intent,
All right, one.
that's like I think I have. Wait, hold on. I think I have like sufficient reason to question like the interlink. Because if you want to use this fight in exhibit, and I think this fight doesn't encompass Yuta's abilities to a T, then I don't think like it would really suffice as evidence.
My point is that it encapsulates what's relevant about Yuta's kit. So if what you're just showing is like domain expansion or like output, which you'd have to prove that it's correlated to reinforcement, that's the presupposition that's underlied there.
Why?
And then on top of that, we hold on. These would all just be conducive to like some sort of AP thing or like killing intent, which I do believe that Yuta could be holding back in. He's just like stated to. But like again, I don't see why this is like conducive to the idea that like he's holding back his speed in like any sort of relevant manner, especially if the goal of the fight is to end in some decisive manner.
Okay, there's two exhibits that you open, and I want to like
So
I want you to I want you to like give me one of them that I can steal man for now, and then later we could address that. Like I don't want to. I'd consider that shotgun if you mentioned two different exhibits at the same time. And you want me to analyze both of them. I think it would make the debate messy.
Okay, what are the two exhibits that we can hold on? What are the two exhibits just for?
You asked me a question regarding output and reinforcement, then you asked me a question about holding back speed. Both of them are separate questions. They can be like in a similar context, but those are like very specific points that will like branch out to like bigger points. So I want to analyze just one of them in this moment.
Okay, what's more relevant to me is the holding back speed point, so we can go into the output and reinforcement thing later.
Yeah, just like bring it up. Like I'll dismiss it for now, but just bring it up sometime. But as for the holding back speed shit,
okay, Yani, Sama, somebody who's good at JJK, knows about JJK. Can you please send me the scans in which Yuta fights Yuji, calls Yuji fast, and then says he wants to end the fight in some decisive manner? And then also, like, I guess the argument here would just be, yeah, you're describing things like outside of that is just the pieces of evidence that you claim to have. You haven't proved it yet. You haven't substantiated it yet. These things, like I'm arguing, these aren't conducive to any sort of like speed thing. So right now, you need to prove what these things are and give an argument to like how they're conducive to speed. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, Tanwin, can you just let me talk? Because I
Okay.
think like I
Can
can
you do
get
that?
this whole
Yeah, yeah. I can do that, but I'll let Jin tag in for now. Send the statement though. Like whilst Jin talks, send the speech statement.
um
Okay, that's fine.
yeah, so Westbound, like how do you like I just wanna before I even go into my point, I just wanna talk about like do you when you read like manga and stuff or watch anime, like do you read it like in the moment or like do you take in like a grand scheme of things?
I don't
Hello?
know. What do you what do you mean by that?
I'm saying like
Yeah,
when
can
you
you hear
read
me?
manga or watch anime, right, and you see things they told in panel statements and shit, like you take it at face value or just like grand scheme of things. For example, obviously like in Bleach, like Aizen was lying the whole entire time, right? So
I'm
it's been
going to
retroactively
take the
calculated
statement. Yeah, I'm going to take
at
the
face
statement
value.
in what I think it means. So I'm going to take it like as broadly as possible, and then use like context and
Okay.
you
So
know
like so when okay so like
external.
so
Hold
when
on,
you
hold
refer
on,
to
hold on.
tears,
So
basically the main story, right?
context. Hold on, wait. Please let me finish. I'd
Okay.
like to give a kind of correct and full response to your question, please. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I take it as broadly as possible. I do like to take it as face value, if possible, as that's just the simplest thing to do, right? Prima facie, we're looking at this thing. We're gonna take it to
Yeah.
its limit, what we can,
Right.
and
Right.
then
Right.
from
At
that
face
point,
value.
we will
I know.
reduce it. Hold on, wait. Please let me finish, Jin. Please. Then from that point, we will reduce it using context and external information, i.e., what we know about the story and what's actually stated within the scan.
Okay. Now before I even continue on, did you read the actual fight? Because if you did, like you wouldn't argue now over Yuta. You understand like Yuta
I'm
pulls up
arguing
right and
Nalia
like
over
mind you,
Yuji.
I mean again like oh my god, you understand like Yuta's like the strongest person there, right? Like now it literally shits himself in the midst that he can't do anything. Yuta just from sensing his presence alone. Like there's no reinforcement happening yet. It's just based off his natural CE,
I
right? So
don't
that's the
think you
weakest
understand
Yuta
the
ever
argument
is.
here.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying your scale is contradicted because the weakest form of Yuta now admits inferiority to.
Again,
Hello,
yeah,
like you
we're
want
just
to respond to
talking
that?
about speed here, right? Hold
I
on.
know. I'm saying that includes
Let me
speed.
finish
I'm
this.
saying that includes
I'm
speed.
talking about
I'm saying that
here.
includes speed.
Hold on. Nalia blitzes Yuji. Hold on. Nalia blitzes Yuji, right? Yuta can be faster than Yuji, like to an extent where his like overwhelming AP, because we know Naya has really shitty AP,
Wait, but
and even
that
though
makes
like
no
he
sense.
blitzes
Why
the
would you
shit
be
out of
scared if you
people
can just
like
blitz
Choso,
Blitz
he
Yuta?
loses the battle because Choso has really good. Hold on, because Choso has
Westbound,
really good
Westbound.
durability,
If he was
really
just so
good
much faster
AOE,
than you,
and means. Hold on, let me
Westbound,
finish, please.
he
Let me
would just
finish.
run away.
Jin, okay, I need
He would just
moderation.
run away, Westbound.
I need
He would
moderation.
just
I
run
need
away. That
moderation.
makes no sense.
I need
We're
moderation.
gonna have to
I need
defer
moderation.
moderation here. All
I'm
right,
not
Westbound,
doing
finish your
this.
point. We'll do talking stick, and then it'll be your turn, Jen.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do talking stick here. Anyway, my point is, right, just him thinking that he can beat, or like Yuta can beat him. And by the way, I'd like for you to prove that. But if we were to even accept this as some sort of evidence, then it would be the case that, yeah, sure, Naoya thinks that, oh, Yuta has like this insane cursed energy output, like his AoE. He can maybe do something to me. He also has Rika. We know that people who are way slower than Naoya and like are getting blitzed by him are able to do things to him like through the means of AoE, like Supernova and shit like that. And we know that Naoya also has like really shitty durability. I mean, yeah, durability
Like
and
half.
AP. He like punches Choso like 5 million times. Doesn't do much to him, right?
Jin, tag me
So
in,
what
tag
we're
me in, tag me
arguing
in,
here,
tag me
hold
in,
Wait,
on, what
please.
we're
let me add
arguing.
something as well.
Jesus Christ. And yeah, I need go ahead after I finish.
Okay,
And
yeah,
then
let me.
like what's actually in
If
question here is the speed. So if we know like he's still like faster than Yuta, like to this extent, that's like fine. Like there's no contradiction here. It's still it's completely remedied under my interpretation. Yanni, go ahead and ask the question.
as far as I'm aware, Westbound, correct me if I'm wrong, but is the argument he's making not just oh yeah, Naoya admits some kind of inferiority to Utah? Is that his argument?
That is his argument, and he's saying that
Okay, I mean
contradicts the
he's a
speed thing,
complete
which I
fucking
don't see how it
retard
does.
then because we're scaling Cassia above Utah in terms of speed, and Cassia and like Naoya are
No, no,
completely
no,
different in terms of like all stats.
no,
It's
no,
not
no,
relevant at
Naya,
all.
no, no, Naya blitzes like Yuji. That's what we're using. Like
but
Naoya, Naoya
it
blitzes
doesn't matter
Yuji,
if
and
like
then
not like
Curse's blitz levels faster than Naoya.
it doesn't matter if like hypothetically oh yeah like now you're bro you, I can't lie bro, you got the fucking scale wrong, bro. We're using um Cursia being like massively faster than Piercing Blood, but it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
is
Like
that what it
Cursia is like
is?
massively fast. Yeah, Cursia is like massively faster than like Piercing Blood. It doesn't matter if like now you hypothetically admit some kind of inferiority to Yuta, which he's yet to prove, by the way, because we're scaling Cursia
Which
above
one are you
Piercing
guys
Blood.
doing? Are you guys doing the piercing blood shit, or are you guys just doing Cursia? Because those are different things.
We're,
No,
we're scaling
Cursia
Cursia
2
above
piercing
Piercing
blood.
Blood. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
scaling
Okay.
Cursia
basically
massively
piercing blood
above
is my,
Piercing
my
Blood.
bad. Yeah, Cursia. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Naoya's just not relevant here. Yeah, we're talking about Cursia. Sorry, I thought
Before Jane
the
continues,
scaling
because
that
he
you
still wants to
referenced earlier
continue.
was. Yeah, no. We
West,
like. I mean, I don't care. We can
can you send the
we can
scan?
drop this
Like,
because
what's this?
Naoya is not relevant for our scaling.
Okay, that's fine. But West, can you send the scan? Because I want to tag that once, like it's my turn.
Wait,
Okay?
just to be clear, like you're
Oh
dropping
yeah,
like entire
sorry.
part. You're saying
I've
this?
been asking the JJK debaters for the scans, bro. I don't have these scans. What's going on, Sama?
What
Bro,
scans do you
where's
need, bro?
Sama? He was doing this
He
for
needs
Infinity.
a
What's going
statement. He
on?
needs a statement about the speech that Yuda's like trying to efficiently kill Yuji like as quick as he can.
No, like decisive, the decisive shit.
Decisive
I know what he's
solution.
referring to. I just need the word for it.
Wait,
The
is
only,
it
the
Yuji
only,
making a statement?
oh, yeah, Yuji makes the only time the
Oh yeah,
decisive
I'll
word is
send that
used
scan.
is when Yuji's making a comment.
It says his attacks are
Yeah, his
decisive. Plus
attacks
he
are
keeps
decisive.
yeah.
So yeah, he yep.
Yep.
And plus, like we know what his goal is. It's just to kill Yuji like as efficiently as possible. Like literally just stab him in the heart. If he was blitz levels faster than Yuji, as our scale would dictate, then it would just follow. He would just like hold him back and like pierce him in the heart or whatever. But regardless, like you have like 20 other things to respond to, so I don't even care about that very much.
Jen, can I please I got it, bro. I got it.
I mean, like, yeah,
Why
you
is he
can.
begging
I
it?
just want to make sure I just want to be clear. Like, are y'all
Jan, I'll
dropping
really
the
slap the shit out of you, nigga.
bro? Like,
You can't say that.
About what?
or like y'all.
Let me. Okay, look. We're gonna make this a little bit more organized.
Jen, I
All right,
can't hear you.
I'm gonna just do full on talking stick now. It's gonna be three. We're just gonna do what the rules say. 3-minute talking time for each side. And yeah.
Nigga added that because of us.
All right. All right. Tanwin and Jen, go ahead for 3 minutes.
Okay. 3 minutes, nigga. Time limit is crazy. All right, whatever. Um, I don't really care for the Naya shit. The divisive shit. We can analyze that. I don't think like it means what you think it means. If you think Yuta's just like making like definitive movements and like trying to like very directly like finish off Yuji, like that makes sense. Like I don't disagree with that particularly. But I think like what I do disagree with the fact is that like this implies that he's going all out. We see like even like when he fights in the culling games, he's not usually like always going all out. Like he's not fighting at like full blast. He won't pull out recall all the time. He won't pull out domain like from the get go. A lot of techniques he like reserves, and I don't think like this is indicative of the fact that like this doesn't have anything to do with Yuji fight particularly. But I do think like it kind of shows the fact that like Yuta just generally how he fights. He like progressively like puts more and more effort depending on how much he thinks it's required. So like if that is like just how he fights in general, and we analyze the fight with Yuji, and like Yuji's like barely any inconvenience to him. Yeah, sure, he's like running away a little bit, but it's not like he's really not putting in too much like work. Like Yuta's not struggling too much. And like
I
again, if
mean,
Yuta
like,
doesn't feel like he needs to pull out anything else, and he even tells Rika to go back, I think it'd be
yeah.
like all the reason for me to believe that like Yuta just isn't outputting all of his strength right now.
I mean, like to even add on to what Tywin is saying. Like when he first shows up, right? Again, before he even does anything, he's getting constantly compared to Gojo. Like he's like supposed to be like this entity that they can't compete with. I don't know if you know this, but it's consistent in the manga to where Gojo does not even really do anything. Like remember when he fought the special grade in Shibuya? At least said, what can he do? Like that's really what Yuta is. Like the guy fought with just base reinforcement and was beating up everybody in that fucking group right there. Um, like Yuta just has the higher narrative position. I really just don't think that guys really have a strong concrete argument to really argue against this. And that's pretty much it. You got anything else, Alan?
No, I'm just waiting for him to respond. Go ahead, boss.
Okay. All right, Tanwin, you make a very compelling argument.
He does.
However, However, I'd be inclined to disagree. My reasons for disagreeing in this instance are okay. So one, we know that he won't be using like his output to like explode things or like his domain expansion unless they're like necessary. We know what his goal. Like this doesn't respond to what I said. The goal of the fight was he wants to revive Yuji. If he just blows all of Yuji's limbs up, then it wouldn't like the guy's just gonna be like fucking crippled. He had a methodology to using it, and I'm pretty sure that it's stated that the methodology is just he did it because he knows that Sukuna ripped out Yuji's heart and then revived with oh sorry, I got a text message, and then revived by repumping his heart, and then Yuta saw that or Yuta heard about that, and that's why he tried out that method. uh, so basically if he had a specific method that he wanted to enact in this instance, it would then follow that if he had the means to do it without Rika holding Yuji down, or if he could just blitz him the way that
Wait, say the last part again.
Cursia
Say the last
seemingly
part again.
with our skill. What the fuck is going on?
Yo, do
What
not
happened to
unmute
talking
do
stick?
not unmute yourself, bro.
That's 1 extra minute.
All right, continue, Westbound. But yeah,
Yeah,
repeat that
I'd
for me.
like a minute added to my talking time, please.
You can get like
Yeah,
an
thank
extra
you.
30 seconds.
So yeah, it just wouldn't be narrative. All right, it just wouldn't be narratively coherent for him to do this thing, like for him not to do this thing if he wasn't able to do this thing just with his base reinforcement. And second thing that Jin said, Jin, I'd just like you to prove everything that you made because that was a very strong claim that required evidence and it was literally based on evidence. And then on top of that, like again, we don't care about Naya. It's just if he's these blitz levels faster that our scale gets Naya to be or Cursia to be, then it would follow that he would like narratively speaking or like for it to be coherent, he would be enacting these sorts of changes. Yanni, do you have anything?
Yeah, so I'm still stuck on like Tanwin's point. I don't really understand what he's trying to go for here. Like, I understand his argument is, oh, this like the statement says his attacks are decisive, but there's other instances where he's holding back himself from using other techniques. So therefore, he's holding back his speed, and his attacks aren't decisive. But then that's just making the statement inconsistent with unnecessarily, right? Like we don't have to make the statement inconsistent. We can just say the attacks that he's doing right now are decisive. His physical attacks are decisive, so he's not holding back physically, but maybe he's holding back in terms of preventing himself from using like other techniques that are external from his physical stats, and that makes the statement consistent with the feats rather than him trying to make the statement inconsistent with the feats. Obviously, like it's more theoretically virtuous to say that it's consistent rather than inconsistent. But yeah, that's like point.
Okay.
I think like the whole talking stick stuff is like kind of redundant because like there was a crux like a large portion of what Westbound said that like didn't make sense to me because I wasn't following. So if like me asking him to clarify, I think like if he was able to clarify, it would make a lot of sense. Like, but whatever.
Look,
Regardless,
look, let me just say this. I won't
yeah.
get started talking time yet, but the reason we're doing that is just because of the 2v2s. It gets a little bit hard to control two people interjecting or like that sort of thing. If you have something you want them to repeat, just like note it down, like in like chat or like in my DMs, and then so you can remind yourself that like when you go onto your turn, you can ask for clarification on that part, and then you can respond to the rest of it that you did track.
Okay,
Um,
But yeah, you can
that's
start
fine.
it.
Alan, like
Wait,
I think.
Jin.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I was just gonna address like I was gonna clarify for Yanni what my argument was. The decisive shit, like that's not what I was referring to whatsoever. I highlighted the fact that when I say decisive, I understand that there's no like confusion in what Yuta's trying to do. He's making very definitive movements towards Yuji because he's trying to accomplish a goal. That's all fine with me. But all I'm suggesting is that as like fights progress generally, like regardless of like what sort of condition they're in, Yuta does generally like even if it's a fight where he has an incentive to kill the opponent, he doesn't pull off everything. Like even during the send fight with Uro and Ryu, Uro literally goes, "Oh, he wasn't going all out." Once he like pulls out like certain techniques and shit, So like obviously if that we know that that's in character for Yuta, I'm not inherently saying that he is or isn't going at his full power against Yuji. I'm just giving you a firm basis off of which I'm septicizing. And I think you'd be hard pressed to prove that like they have some sort of interlink during this fight because I don't think there's any sort of like direct implication for that. But go ahead, Jen.
Okay, for one, look, my phone's on 5%, but I'm a block away from my house, so I'm just gonna yap until my phone dies real quick. But for one, Westbound and Yani, I've already posted the scans. Yuta is constantly compared to Gojo before he starts fighting. Like obviously they mention his rank, they sense his energy. Again, like the scan that you actually posted, Yani, where you just talking about his constant flow energy, that actually helps our business more because what's it called? Yuji thinks based off what he's seen in Gojo that Yuta's actually stronger than him, right? And obviously, like Yuta has to recontextualize why Gojo's the strongest. Obviously, because he has the six eyes, he uses abilities more and shit like that. It's obviously because he brings more to the table besides just that. Obviously, like you would agree, based on that whole entire fight, you did not use anything besides basic reinforcement, which also helps my point more because again, I posted the scan, you can see right there in Shibuya, where Gojo is facing against people who are quote unquote special grade or some low tier type special grade. He only fights with reinforcement. He still dogs on them. So if he's getting portrayed like this guy and he's doing the same exact thing as him, obviously you just have the stronger narrative position because guess what? He is the second to Gojo. That's the whole entire point. Like I just don't think your argument's pretty strong. I think it's clear he's that strong. Um, well, I really don't know if y'all can really connect the Mach 3 shit to Yuta that much because, like, I still think anybody showed relativity to Yuta that entire arc. I just think he was just walking them all entire down. They really weren't doing anything. Y'all just didn't follow the sequence in the fight correctly. Like, that's the whole entire fucking sequence was one sided in Yuta's favor. Like, let's be for real. When the arc ended, everybody was on the ground but him. He was holding them like fucking dead bodies. Like, that's not relative. Like, we're fucking yapping. But yeah.
Cool.
I'm not. This might be some hidden tech, bruh. Jin, what the fuck was that? Okay.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Tanwin, I'll start with you. The whole point is we're not saying that it, like inherently has to mean this thing. We're just making like some coherency argument. Uh, Basically, we know that he's making these decisive strikes. For him to make these decisive strikes, it would have the implication that he wants to end the fight with some sort of urgency. Decisive being the words here. So if we know that, and we know that his goals is literally just to kill him with some certain methodology, and if he were to blitz Yuji as Cursia can, and this is the third time I'm repeating my argument, by the way, because I understand you didn't. Uh, I don't want to say understand, but you didn't get my first argument. Basically, if he's able to do this thing, and if he has this level of, I guess, reinforcement in which he can speed himself up to absolutely blitz Yuji and just stab him in the heart, it would follow, right? Through all, well, most epistemic virtues, they all signal to the fact that he would probably have done it. If he didn't do it, then what do you think that shows likelihood towards him not being able to do it? Um, and regardless, you would also like right now what we're saying. All right, we have no reason to believe he's holding back in speed because of X, Y, and Z reasons. All you've given is reasons for him to be holding back in some sort of or like output or his domain, and these things aren't things we particularly value. They just boost his AP, and they wouldn't be conducive towards his goal that we know. Uh, and that also is just like something that extends onto Jin's argument. I don't like I don't get what him being second to Gojo is. Like if he has a lot of cursed output, that's like fine. I don't see why this is like some speed thing. I need you to connect that. Please for me. Right. Anyway, fact of the matter is, and then like on top of that, we see the fact that Rika literally holds him down, and only after Rika holds him down, and literally constrains Yuji's speed, does Yuta enact his methodology. So literally, we know that he's trying to do this method. There's no reason for him to just like arbitrarily not do it. It's so weird to me. And Jin, I don't. I mean, I understand your argument. It's just not. I know it's not a very strong one, man. I don't see how this relates to speed. I'd like for you to correlate that relevantly. Anyway, relativity guys with Yuta dragging. Okay, that's fine. Not Yanni. Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, like I just want to get clear on Jin's argument. Uh, earlier, okay, earlier in the debate, I think he tried to draw some comparison between like Yuta's possible personality, or sorry, how Yuta would act in these scenarios from the comparisons they make between Gojo and Yuta. I just don't know why those comparisons would entail like us knowing something about how Yuta would act in these kind of scenarios. And also, Tanwin, can you clarify what you mean by definitive there? Like, I need to understand what you mean when you say the decisive can just mean definitive because that's unclear. I take definitive to be something that's intending to change the fight drastically.
Okay. Whatever Westbound said in response to my thing, I don't like. Again, like I don't really think it attacks anything I said. Or like whatever like burden he tried placing on me. I think I've already answered everything. Um, in terms of Johnny's question about decisive and definitive, decisive if you mean like because a lot of the times like when people talk about like the decisive blow out of a fight, it's usually talking about the finishing blow or like the amount of like power that he needs to output in order to finish the fight in those moments. Like obviously like Yuta's trying like at a certain level in order to like finish the fight. I'm fine with that. I understand that we disagree on whether he's putting all of it in, like all he's going all out or not. I think he's going like at a certain level of output. You guys think that there's some sort of chance that he it's not to like any significant degree. Regardless, I think we're mutually on the same page when it comes to like the fact that he is like trying to some extent at least. And he has the goal to finish off Yuji. So if that is his goal, the blows that he would do, those were in attempts to hurt Yuji and in order to mobilize him. And thus they were decisive or definitive in that case. But yeah. Jen, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think my point's really simple here. I'm just saying that, like, for starters, I think I've already kind of like made the connection, but like with him being a parallel to Gojo in this instance, seeing is that there's literally as many comparisons before the fight even starts. And the reason why I'm hammering this point in much more is because the whole point is that like Gojo has like fucking 5 statements of him being number one. Like he's the exception. Remember, like Naruto, he's the fastest besides this guy, right? At least for the just like some different translation for the bird strike was like, yeah, no one can survive this besides Gojo, of course. Like, you know, like the enemy makes it more blatant. But my entire point is that, like, if he's supposed to be compared to this guy, and again, I'm gonna say one more time, when the fight first starts, Yuta is, at least from what Yuji has seen in Gojo, he thinks that Yuta is more impressive. He's even more creeper. He has more reinforcement, right? The guy is supposed to be a better Gojo than the Gojo that we've seen earlier in the manga at this point. I think it's pretty clear that like the guy is gapping him. I'm arguing a sequencing thing. Like the story is like just proposing that Yuta's gapping these guys that don't really show activity. That's why I'm also just using the fact that when the fight ended, everybody's on the ground after using like their most powerful abilities and all this shit. Yuta's completely fine, unscathed. He's not even worried about anything they did. Like they didn't press him at all. So if they're not pressing him, and you would obviously expect that if they're more relative to you than not, he would be like huffing, puffing, be like, "Oh my god, they really are like super fast or some shit." He never stated. Like they're actually playthings to him. What's I'm gonna call it? Besides that, like, I really think it is clear that we both do have some sort of mutual understanding that, like Thomas said earlier, that there is some sort of holding back there. If that is the case, that Yuta does have some underlying effort of him holding back, that makes your point less parsimonious already. So again, like you guys, again, are the one proposing the scaling chain, and because we already have this underlying agreement that your point is less parsimonious based off that agreement right there, like I just think you're hard pressed to make your point more clear.
Thank you for that coherent argument, Jim.
I don't
Yani, you
even
said you wanted to go
understand
first?
like the argument he's trying to make. He was like fucking flip flopping all over the place, but whatever.
Wait, hold
To
on. First of all, we never had an agreement that our argument was less parsimonious.
yeah,
There
like
no parsimonious.
that was never agreed upon at any point in the debate. But to respond to Tanwin first, uh, um, you now agree that the scanning tells that Yuta is trying to at least some degree, and then we also have reasons external to the scan to believe that Yuta is trying, given the fact that Yuta does have reason to try here, as Westbound has outlined. So we have like we have reason to believe that he is trying, given Yuji's wording, and we have reason to believe that he would be trying or he ought try. Okay, now you're saying that, well, all in all, it's still possible for him to have reason to try, and it's still possible for him, seemingly trying, given the wording that Yuji uses in the scan, but for him to still be holding back. You now have to give reasons external to these instances, for why he'd be holding back in terms of his physical speed. Earlier, you mentioned the fact that, oh yeah, he's going to be going to be getting progressively stronger throughout the fights that he's in. Like he's holding back his techniques and whatnot. But then again, like this doesn't correlate to physical stats. Uh, Maybe you can explain to me how that correlates to physical stats, um, in some way. And then like for Jin's argument, not gonna lie, I did not understand like what the fuck he was trying to get at. I just disagree with there being a parallel being made with Gojo. And by the way, I need you to explain to me how, if there was a parallel, like if there was like this intentional parallel by Gege, whoever the fuck his name is, how that entails Yuta's strength here, or Yuta being fast enough to overcome the speed difference. Maybe, actually, no, I'm not gonna say that. Weston, do you have anything to add?
I have a lot to add. Tanwin, I understand your argument. This is just going to get into output versus reinforcement. So, like, we can get into that, right? The thing, like, what I'm like, the only thing I can see your argument saying here, like, at a very baseline level, he's holding back. We all agree that he's holding back his output. So for some, like that would correlate to a speed in some way, and that would just be like reinforcement versus output. I don't think that. Because he doesn't want to use his output to like explode Yuji into bits, or use Rika to just like slam him. This all ties back to my methodology thing. I'm gonna be so honest. We can probably just conclude on all of this. I don't, I don't see the relevance of much of this. And like, even if we talk about the cursed, let's say like I steel man the output to reinforcement shit. Again, that's just gonna be conducive to AP. We've already compartmentalized AP being insofar as he doesn't want to blow Yuji to bits. He wants to revive him after. So in doing so, he would have to hold back these things that have this like very high destructive capability. He would also not want to kill Yuji. He would just be holding back in terms of killing intent. And I agree that this is what it's shown here. But if we know that it's decisive, i.e., he wants to finish the fight in some relevant manner, and he has the capabilities to just absolutely blitz Yuji past whatever he can do. Like, and I really need, this is the fourth time I'm repeating this. I need you to give an argument against the narrative coherency and just basic parsimony, right? I haven't heard anything here that's a response to this. And Jin, man, you give you give an argument, and I think that your argument says a lot of things, right? How many things are particularly relevant? I'm unsure, right? But I will respond to. Can you repeat the narrative shit, bro? I just repeated
Nah,
it.
don't,
Like I
don't,
just
don't.
said it 4 times. Like I don't think I have.
Don't repeat it for
Okay,
him, bro.
like
If you
I don't
can't
know.
track
Like
this
I
fucking
can't
out.
spell this out to you. I don't know, bro. Like I'm making this
Um,
very, very, very clear here.
we can we can
Anyway,
we can we can conclude on the whole
yeah,
debate, by the way, because
we,
it's the judges judging
we
off
can, we
recording.
can.
Yeah, we can just end the debate here if you guys are confident.
Okay. But if it's what you're
Okay,
saying,
all
I
right,
got it.
good.
All right. Well, yeah, we can conclude the debate here if that's it. Jin, again, like that whole thing you're saying, that can be like some overarching, like even like let's say disregard what Yanni's saying. Don't disregard it. But like let's steel man that for a second. Hypothetically, even then that would just be something that's a overarching. It's not like relevant to speed in any like it's not relevant to only speed or only just these things. I would just argue that he has Rika, the things that he doesn't cover. Maybe if this some sort of parallel is made, like he has this overwhelming output, or like he has Rika, he has domain expansion, he has these very strong tools. I don't see why this speed. This is all still expected. Like this can all still be expected within the interpretations that we're making. It's not necessarily something that defeats it. Whatever we're saying, right? So all of these things can be true, and Cursia will still blitz the shit out of Yuta, which in turn would mean that Maki blitz the shit out of Yuta. So that's pretty much it. I don't know. This is going not very much anywhere. right?
If it's the case, they make a new
I
argument.
don't know.
Obviously, you want to continue the debate, but
I gotta.
Yeah,
you guys off.
obviously.
Tanwin and Jen, I'll give you guys a little bit extra talking time because I gave them like an extra minute and a half because I was dealing with some. Y'all can go ahead.
Why my shit? Okay. Jen, if you want to say anything, like you can.
I
And
mean,
I want to like
yeah, I
move
mean,
into conclusions. And I want to do conclusions for this point specifically.
I
Like,
mean,
there's a lot of things I want to
the
tackle.
only thing I really have to really talk about is like, I think it's pretty clear that like it is parsimonious. I don't know why I try to comment for that. The whole point is that you guys all agree, like at least I didn't hear contention that Yuta isn't using everything in his bag. Obviously, because that'd be overkill. Absolutely, like Yuji has no domain counters. She obviously doesn't need domain based on what we saw from the fight. Yuta isn't, Rika isn't fully manifested. Obviously, what Tom brought up, Rika being fully manifested does make him stronger. Like the whole point is like they can sense this guy, right? Earl, and they can sense him. They're like, yeah, he didn't use the full power yet. Like obviously he's weakened here. What's it called? And I just don't think you guys are really reading the scans. You just like are ignoring shit. Like he's compared to Gojo numerous amounts of times. I even brought this up with the Gojo examples. Gojo, every time he's compared to somebody, he's supposed to be number one. Verbatim, what they say on the panel is, I'm guessing he's the same type as Gojo Sensei. If you fault him, you die. You'll die. Obviously, the whole point of Gojo is that he's the strongest. He's number one in all these categories. And if you're telling me that Yuta doing exactly what Gojo did in Shibuya, only fighting with reinforcement alone against these high-low fighters, walking shit down, him being unscathed and all that shit, never surprised at all, isn't going to be some type of correlation when, again, even besides this, he's still compared to Gojo, numerous of time. He's even, again, here's the skin I was looking for, but he, Yuji thinks he's better than the Gojo he's seen. Like, I think it's pretty clear cut that he's supposed to be above these guys, not really relative to him. Like really, like all Yuji did the entire fight was just delay the inevitable, which he still lost. I think we do have more reason to say he is holding back, considering like the already prior agreements and shits. Um, I really don't know like how any of your points responded to any of the narrative stuff. Plus, like you understand, like if like Maki's literally a sorcerer, like y'all know that, right? Like you second to Gojo, like it's pretty clear cut. Like this, like it's not really a response, bro.
Again, we can get into the Yudo over Maki stuff like right after this. Like that's the only other point I want to
Like,
talk
okay.
about. But we can continue at this point.
Is that all you had to say?
Yeah, I just want us to conclude. Like up to them if they want to. But yeah.
I'll unmute them. Y'all want to conclude, or do you guys have some responses?
I mean,
Hold on.
Westbound, do you want to
I'm
like
responding to
end
Jock.
that point there?
We can end that point there,
Jin?
but I'm like responding to Jock 'cause he's dick riding me like violently.
Okay, wait. I do want to respond to Jin real quick though. Like these let's still man these comparisons and say he is being compared to Gojo in these senses that they state in the scans. Obviously, the state like that you're trying to imply. I don't know why this is relevant to the speed scale because like demonstrably, let's say they have Yuta above Yuji, which is like not even like the thing we're trying to argue against. Like, yeah, maybe these like narrative implications do put Yuta. Maybe these narrative implications do put Yuta above Yuji. In terms of like of an overall combatant, right? But just in terms of like strictly physical ability, specifically speed, it just seems to be the case that Yuta is relative to Yuji or comparable to Yuji in terms of speed, and then obviously like the whole piercing blood to Cursia to Maki scale, like it is still going to follow regardless. So even if even if you still man the truth of your scans or the truth of your interpretation of the scans, it just follows that Maki is still going to be massively faster than Yuta, and then I don't want to give a conclusion because that's going to help you track my argument when you give your conclusion. And I feel like the judge who's going to watch the recording, Sakazuki, is going to go through the recording and just like see the arguments we made. So I don't think there's a need for a verbal conclusion. But Westbound, is it okay if I ask Tanwin a question about his point, or like is there no need?
I mean, I don't think there's any. If you think it's like relevant and maybe like it'll help clear up some confusion,
I would
sure, go ahead.
prefer.
But honestly, I agree. I don't.
Conclusions. I would prefer verbal conclusions as the judge,
Uh,
but if you guys don't want to, then
I
I'm
mean,
gonna be honest.
is
I
it
don't. No,
forced
no,
or
no.
like?
I genuinely don't want to do. I genuinely don't want to do verbal conclusions. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I feel like I just responded to Jen. Jin also didn't fucking track the whole point that me and Westham are making at the start of his little fucking nigger ramble. So
Bro,
yeah, that's that.
it was like two different debates going on. What the fuck?
Lottie Camus, bro.
I'll just let them.
Lottie fucking Camus.
I'll just let them conclude if they want to give one, and then we can wrap it up.
Okay, I'll conclude on my shit. There's like the whole point basically boiled down to me skepticizing over whether Yuta and Yuji, based off their fight, show any signs of any sort of relativity, or at least like any sort of like important relativity. I kind of highlight the fact that like Yuta, like as he fights people progressively, because like give a very specific example, and this is like completely unaddressed. Like this doesn't get addressed whatsoever. I mentioned the fact that during Sendai, which is when he fights Ryu and Uro, when he has an incentive to kill them, he still takes his pace. Or even mentions he wasn't going all out from the beginning, because depending on how much he's being pressed, he pushes out certain techniques or fights at certain levels. Right. Keep in mind, I'm implying the fact that there's growth throughout the fight in terms of how hard he tries. That is like the underlying premise of what I'm saying. How that relates to the Yuta and Yuji fight. If I also like very specifically highlighted, Yuji isn't like pressing him whatsoever. It's not an issue. And like the second
Did he just die, or is that just me?
Yeah, I thought it was. I think he died.
Repeat whatever you
What's the last thing?
repeat.
Okay, hold on. Let me switch the data.
Fully cut out, bro.
Okay. Did you hear the part where I mentioned Sendai, like Ryu and Uro?
Yeah. You said he fought at Sendai, and then he sort of just like died.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I said like he fought at Sendai, and then Uro takes note of the fact that even though like he had an incentive to kill all of them, like he takes it slow. Like he like takes out techniques based on how much he needs them and shit like that. So the underlying premise of that would be he's trying. Like yes, he has the incentive to kill these people right now, but he's still like not giving it all of it from like the get go. So he's still like as the fight progresses, he fights harder and harder. And I mentioned the fact that again in the debate, like you can check in the recording, I mentioned the fact that there's multiple points where Yuji is just not an issue to him whatsoever. And the second Rika comes up, he literally tells her to go back in. I understand they're skepticizing whether it pertains to speed or not, but I very clearly highlighted the fact that just generally, just how he fights, he doesn't like give it his all, like at any point. With the definitive shit that he mentioned, decisive shit, Yanni mentioned it, and I don't think like it has too much to do with anything. Obviously, he's decisive in the fact that he has a very clear cut goal and he's trying to accomplish this goal. But again, I think that necessitates the fact that like he's going at 110% of his strength or whatsoever. Like I don't think that's implied anywhere. And I think I've given like more than enough reason to like skepticize on that. And I don't think they sufficiently fulfill their burden, especially with the fact that I've given like examples. So if anything, Yuta not going all out would have like significantly more evidence than Yuta going like putting in like a significant amount of effort. But yeah, Jin, you can conclude.
I mean, like, yeah, I don't know why. Again, like, they just weren't reading my scans or listen to my argument. Like, they're just trying to like ignore me. I already did connect it to speed. I mentioned how like if he's supposed to be a type like Gojo, like he would map onto the Nabito comparison to where like, look, Nabito's the fastest besides this guy, of course, right? Obviously, I posted the scan in a Shibuya where they're like, what doesn't Gojo have? I mentioned you this bag, like it's basically like Gojo. He has a broken CT, a good domain, all this stuff. He does have these Gojo comparisons. Again, the statement verbatim is he's the same type. Gojo in every comparisons when he's called the strongest, he's supposed to be exempt because they clearly know he's number one in those categories you mentioned. Like I don't see how any of them responded to that. They just kept like trying to clown me, even though my point was clear, was concise. Like I did use the argument of like how the story's being presented, the sequencing. They weren't really pressing him. He didn't go all out. We do have that example to where like, look, if we just do know that he's not using these type of abilities and he's not getting pressed, obviously like he's going to be holding back. It's more willing to say he's not full power here, like blatantly. Mapping it on with my point with the whole Ghost comparison, like they just lost this point, like utterly.
All right, cool. I'm assuming that's the end. Save rec.